Hi, good afternoon. Happy Monday. I'm here with at Taskmaster, and we're getting ready to do the INLEO update for August 5th. So
Let
they
me
messed this
rethread
around.
this.
Hmm.
I said I was
They-
just rethreading the threadcast.
Okay.
Let people know
Oh,
we went live. Okay, it's out there.
all right. So yeah, they changed the AMA, or not the AMA, the town hall, huh?
Yeah, we were supposed to have a town hall today. I guess there was a conflict with Yaba Matt, who was going to be on. um, so that's rescheduled for Wednesday. The AMA last week was canceled. We'll see if there's one tomorrow. I haven't seen. I mean, Shorts is working, but it doesn't come through Leo, so I don't know what's going on with that.
It's working, but it doesn't come. When?
Well, you could if you submit a short, it uploads it through Three Speak, but it doesn't show up on Leo. So
Oh, all right.
yeah, do you have some
So
music in the background? There's an echo, or there's some music or something.
Oh, my husband's listening to music. You can hear that?
Yeah,
Huh.
powerful mic you have.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, I'll mute myself while you're talking. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not any big deal. I didn't know what it was, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just listening. And I've got the door shut on the
yeah.
in this room. That's weird. Anyway, so yeah, last week on the Lions Den, they were talking about the you were talking about the tentacles of Leo.
hmm
Did you want to review a little bit of that here?
Well, I mean there was a hour and a half show, so not really necessary to go through everything, but it comes back to the concept of what are you here for? What are you doing? Why are you here? And this is something everybody has to answer for themselves, obviously. And most people will be, I'm here for the rewards. Well, if you're here for that, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why are you here and what are you interested in building? And that's where I was correlating that, the answer to that question, to the tools that are being provided and how over time Leo is going to provide more and more tools that allow us to expand our reach as individuals. And being in such a small pond, if you will, versus the abyss of YouTube or Medium or Facebook or whatever, then we can have even outsized impact upon what takes place. And I also dove into the fact that Leo AI and the AI fact of things is also something not to overlook, not only in our own capabilities, but in the ultimate valuation of Leo. That's going to be something very, very important.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're just depending on getting rewards, I don't I don't see that as a reason to be here. I mean, it's a nice little. If it happens, it's nice, or what? But I'm kind of invested. I'm invested for being able to own the space.
Yeah, you have a piece of the social layer, absolutely, and that's what I always talk about, the difference between income and equity. Obviously, to get equity, you need income, and if you're active, I mean, I don't know how many votes I give out a day, how many votes Cal gives out a day, how many votes one out. I mean, we all give a lot of votes out, especially with threads. So if somebody's active in threads, they get upvoted. That will get you some Leo. That will get you some high. Um, so, but again, you have to take. I think people need the long term viewpoint, and your equity growth potentially is going to far outpace the amount of earnings you could have in any, let's say, even a given year. Because, I mean, hell, if you got 5,000 Leo and the price 4x, I mean, that's a 4x growth. That's a lot of growth
That's
for just
significant.
enjoying the ride. And 4x from where we're at now is nothing.
Yeah, it's at 6, right? Like
No, I
6 cents.
think with the market drop, we're down to 3.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's dropped even further, which isn't surprising. I mean, everything puked and sold off. So
but I don't. I mean, I don't even look at the price. I just stake it.
I only noticed because somebody put in a thread Leo with the dollar sign or that, and I just noticed it said 3, and it's like if it still said 6, I wouldn't have even noticed. It's like okay, um, but again, it's when you have these major sell-offs. I mean, nothing gets exempt. But that's what markets do, and that's why the long-term perspective is probably the best one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just here to take out all the time, you might as well not. I don't know. You might as well not even be here.
Yeah, I mean it's people don't understand what digital platforms are all about. I mean, they see the result of Facebook, they see the result of X, they see the result of YouTube. I think conceptually they understand, but yet they don't contribute to what's in their pocket. They still think X is more important. Well, Elon appreciates you adding another 10 billion, another couple billion to his net worth, but that doesn't do anything.
You'll get. I mean, the chances of getting anywhere on those platforms is just
Even if you get somewhere, what do you own? You don't own shit next. It's a private
right
company.
because
So you
they
don't
could.
own crap. You don't own, I mean, you might have a little Google stock if you're lucky. Fine. But, you really still don't own very much.
You
And
don't own it, and they can kick you off of it at any time. I mean, they can just shut down, and that's it.
yep, yep, that's the truth. So um, I go right back to people still don't have a Web3 mindset. They're still stuck in Web2. And the masses are always going to be, including the percentage on Leo, they just have the slave mindset. That's what it is. It's what we've been indoctrinated with throughout our whole lives through the way the economic system is set up. And most of us have been wage slaves. Most of us have, you know, basically gotten because others decided to give to us. Like they gave us a job, they kept us, they didn't fire us, they gave us a raise. And that's how we operate. And so the idea that you are going to own anything is just a foreign concept to people. Even those who own stuff like their car or their house, or well, most people don't even own their house, they mortgage that. They think they own it, but they don't. Um, it just, even owning stocks, it's like, okay, I can own Home Depot stock, but it doesn't matter how many 2x4s I buy from Home Depot. I'm not going to influence the price of the stock. No.
No, you just empty your wallet and
Yeah, so it's if people don't understand that Web3 is totally different and what it's truly about and connecting the dots, I don't know. I mean, I write about it all the time. I tell people based upon my following of technology for 25 years how these things move, and it's like people disagree with me still, and it's like okay, we'll see.
yeah, talking about AI now too. I just saw when I was surfing for some other stuff. I saw an ad for getting access to like Chat GPT and all these other like platforms or whatever in one package. I'm like, I can't, I can't believe how many AI platforms there really are now.
Oh,
It's
AI is going to be like websites. I mean, it's if you understand what AI is nothing but data wrapped in algorithms and run through compute. And so what you have is you have, well, first off, you have open source models like Meta, which allow people to create stuff and will greatly expand, I think, over the next couple of years. But if you have you with compute, you have a falling, you got a majorly deflationary product there in terms of your cost per compute. So in 2 years from now, the ability to compute at today's numbers will cost significantly less. And the amount of data that an organization, that an individual, that a platform generates just keeps increasing. So you have falling costs of compute, you have increasing amount of data, and people are running better and better algorithms. That's AI. That's what built cloud. That's what Google has built their model on. So they had a fabulous business concept for decades. You have these data centers that get less and less costly over time. They allow them to have greater and greater output. And you have people feeding it more and more stuff. So their costs are going down. The amount of data they have going up is increasing. And they can write better algorithms, which means they get better output, which in Google's case and Facebook's case mostly was to sell to advertisers. But whatever your output is, your target for that information that is spit out, that's only going to increase in efficiency and capability while costing you less. Well, guess what that means? That means a massive increase across the board if people have access to the data. And that's what I keep going back to with the democratization of data. When you look at Twitter, you can't get to Twitter anymore. You can't really get to Facebook or Reddit, and you can't scrape them. They're locking it down. Now, they were probably scraped before. So, I started an interview with Elon, and he said, well, there's no major company that hasn't scraped all of Twitter yet. They haven't. But the difference is his LLM is going to have the most up to date and recent information. Those others will not. So that's the advantage he has. But when you look at the foundation of AI, it's massively expansive. And that's why, again, I said I'm most optimistic for Leo about Leo AI, because that's something over time that can keep growing at a very, very rapid pace if the focus and dedication is to that. Uh, you know, I do my Tesla videos most days. Tesla is becoming an AI company. Elon is focusing on AI on that. Yeah, they build cars, but cars are just a vehicle to AI. They're just computers on wheels now. They're embodied AI is what they are. And that's really the mindset. Now, with all the Tesla I own a smidgen of that technology. So again, going back to even if I owned a few shares of Google or a few shares of Meta, I can't own any shares in X. What do you have? You have nothing. It's like if I go buy a Tesla, am I going to help my stock? No, one Tesla isn't going to help the stock. And so this is where I think putting things in perspective is entirely important, and having a piece of these platforms is crucial. And I'm hoping we haven't seen INLEO AI; it's just been talked about, so we don't know what the hell it means. But I'm hoping this is a pathway into it for all of us.
And the shorts, those are going to be part of it too. Like, would they?
Shorts are uploading the content, and training AI on video is very expensive and probably beyond the range of what can be done now. But what I've heard is there's software where you can run the audio from a short, from any video through, and get a transcript. And then if you take the transcript and you post it as a thread underneath the video, underneath the short, well, now you have what's said in the video as text, which of course that feeds Leo AI. So there is a way to work around that where you can train Leo AI on every short based upon what we say on the video. Is it exact? No, but it's close enough where, again, if you have 500 shorts being posted a day, that's going to be a fair bit of data, organic data that we create, unless people are keep creating AI videos. But either way, it's more data being fed into Leo AI. And this is why, everything that's put on Hive is crucial in terms of text, because Hive's a text database, and that's what Leo is going to pull from, Leo AI, pull from. So when we take and, you may have seen some of my, when I post a news type article, I'll take the headline, I'll put it in there, I'll link it, then I'll, do the fair use. I'll take a couple, paragraph or two and post that. And then, of course, link the article. Um, okay, it's not the full article, but it is a piece of it. The
Mm-hmm.
main reason why news to threads is really valuable is it takes these articles and it puts up 5 different threads. Now, that's not a ton of data, but it is a little bit of data. And cumulatively, when you look at some of these thread counts over the course of a week, that adds up. And, that's why another thing I'm thinking of, I'm excited about, is when they have the command prompt where people will be able to use a command prompt and put in on threads, put in a URL from, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and create a threadcast out or threadstorm out. Excuse me, not threadcast, which that effectively what news to threads does. It creates a threadstorm. And so basically you would take this article from CNBC or this article from Sports Illustrated or a Medium article or whatever, and you would post it, and it would consolidate that down into a thread storm. Uh, so it hits on some of the key points. And if you start pulling that crap from a newspaper in Kenya, if you start pulling it from a small town in Mississippi, if you start pulling it from, some of these different areas, now you're starting to feed Leo AI with some very, very specific information that may not be in the LLM. And that all of a sudden increases the value because all of a sudden, even though it's very specialized, if you start going into countries that are not the primary focus of these LLMs, like Congo, like Kenya, like whatever, now all of a sudden you have information, you got data, which turns into information that may not be in the large language models. Just like a company is going to take, let's say, their sales information That's not available on the internet. They'll take their sales information, they'll take their sales breakdown, they'll take their salespeople's records, they'll take all that and feed it in, and they'll get a output based upon their sales information. Even if they're using a Meta's, or OpenAI or so, or whoever's, they are going to get very specialized output because they're using their data. And that's something we can do, because you take some small newspaper that may not have been in the large language model. You take something that is very specific to your town or your state, some arcane fact about it, and you post it. Well, that's in there. That may not be in these chatbots. So that's really where direction we have to keep thinking is everything that we put on chain is fed into Leo AI. And you have to be able to envision it. And it's not just using Leo AI as a search engine, although, they're getting a little better at that. But think of Leo AI as it's generative AI. And, think of what we're doing with images. And Andersino does his AI image thread cast most days. You can go to a variety of these image bots, and they'll create you an image, and a decent one. And some are better than others. But again, the more of that stuff that we get onto Leo, even images, because that goes into Leo's image server. Leo has that. That's not on chain. At some point, could Leo use that for training? I'm going to hypothesize yes. It's probably not cost effective at this time, but at some point it might be. And if we have millions of images, of memes, of AI generated content, all this stuff that we put in there, that's more stuff to feed it. And then, of course, ultimately, if we get to the point where it's cost effective enough for video, well, then obviously the scraping of 3-speed could be done, because, that's tied to a Leo account too. So this is where generating this type of content is extremely, extremely important outside the YouTubes, the X's, and the Facebooks, because they're going to lock the shit down. And they're going after people for using their content. I mean, OpenAI is being sued by everybody, it seems. Now, X isn't being sued. Meta's not being sued. But that's not surprising, because they have their own data. So why do they have to go out and steal from YouTube when people are uploading videos to Twitter all day? I think they can upload them anyway. But, you get my point. Facebook or Meta has Instagram. They got billions of images. They don't need to go and steal anybody's images. They got billions uploaded on their server. So that's where the difference comes in.
Yeah, when I'm doing my threadcast, I've noticed a few of the videos recently have been not available for replay or whatever on any other platform. I'm like, okay, well, move on.
Well, I think that's a setting that, I don't know. That might be a setting in your YouTube account where you can open it up. I've seen that too, where if you've I've taken YouTube videos and I tried to put them in threads, and when I look at the preview window, it says user did not authorize this to be viewed on any other platform. Please click back to YouTube to watch it. And then, of course, you get the this is not authorized in country nonsense too. But that I don't think the user can control. That's just, whatever YouTube set up. But there are certain settings that people can authorize. So I don't know, maybe look through your YouTube setting. That maybe it's okay. Maybe you can open it up. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing here. I might be mistaken, but that might be part of it.
When you're talking about using Leo AI, so you could conceivably eventually create other content using the, like, create a blog post using the Leo AI?
Well, you could do that with chatbots. The problem
Right.
is, as Cal said, they're probably gonna list it as AI generated first and foremost. And second thing is, then if you're on Hive, you're gonna just make yourself a target. So rule number one is don't be stupid. Rule number two, don't listen to stupid people. Well, if you're going to just sit there and try to create AI generated content to post on Hive and pass off as blog posts, that's going to fit in the don't be stupid category. And the rest of us, if we have any sense, we're going to adhere to the avoid stupid people. So we're going to ignore you and your shit because there's no point to it. Now, using Leo AI to generate an image and put that on Leo's image server as opposed to going to Ideogram or one of these others, why not? Using Leo AI to pull some data. And I've used this example where I was writing an article about uh, the fragmentation of television and of media. And so I went and I did a search of what were the nightly news ratings. And I went to a chatbot and what were nightly news ratings, for Peter Jennings in 1990, and what are the latest readings for the guy now? And it pulled it up. And I think I said, give me 5-year intervals or whatever, but it pulled it up. And I
Mm-hmm.
took that information, I copied it and put it in my article. Now, that wasn't a whole article. I referenced it from the article saying, doing a search on Chat GPT or whatever I used. I don't remember what it was, Grok or whatever.
So you had the attribution there. So
It's just like, part of the thing is with Hive is if you cite where you get the shit from, you can use any image, just cite it.
Mhm.
Here's the link to where the image came from, or it's a Wikipedia image, or wherever you copied it from. Just cite that. So if you pull some data, I mean, if you pull a part of an article, let's say you have an article you're writing about, you're writing an article, but you're using another article for reference, and so there's a quote or a paragraph that you copy and you put in there. Well, you link the article, the main article where you got it from, underneath what you copy. You don't pass that off as your own. You say, you use the arrow, you make it a quote, and you say source, and here's the source. Well, it's the same thing with AI. Just source it. Just say, okay, I pulled this information, ChatGPT, and it's, um, here's the table. Here's the table as created by ChatGPT, and that's good enough. Now, if that's your whole post, you got a problem. But if you're just using that data as part of your larger post, or if you're using that information that you pull out through your query as part of it, then that's fine. You just cite it and say it. I got this from Claude. I got this from Gemini. I got it from wherever. Just cite it.
it's
Don't try to
common
make
sense.
it your own.
I mean, I wrote enough history papers to know that that
Yeah,
attribution.
yeah. You just cite it, and the AI is the same way. Now, if you're going to write a whole damn article and try to pass that off as your own, well, if you're in college and you're caught, they kick your ass out. If you're on
Mhm.
if you're on Hive and you get caught, you end up on Hive Watchers, and then people sit there crying, "Why are they downvoting me?" Because you're a cheater, you're a scammer, you're a farce. You used AI to try to cheat the system. Now, you can create whatever you want with AI and put it in a post and just decline rewards. Then they can't accuse you of, I mean, well, if you decline rewards in an account and they downvote you, who gives a shit anyway? You decline the reward. So what the hell are you downvoting, you morons? Let them do it. So be smart. Don't be stupid. You know,
Common sense.
yeah. I mean, if you take I mean, both Mike possibly and I have had conversations with Claude, and we posted them on Threads. And we said in a conversation with Claude, and we copied and pasted the whole damn conversation. We preface it. This came from Claude. And then we put it in like 6 or 7 threads because it doesn't fit in one. Well, you can do that. Here's a recipe that Claude gave me for apple pie. Then put the ingredients, put the recipe, and or if you get the recipe from cooking.com, you link it. Here's the recipe I got from cooking.com. It's simple.
Yeah, and the other day you had a question, I think within your technology threadcast, about asking if you ever interacted with a chat bot. I'm pretty sure I have. I mean, it's almost on customer service ones are not fun.
No, because they still they're not up to par, especially since you look at a Verizon or the cable company or whoever. They're not cutting edge like Meta is, so they're going to be behind. They'll catch up, but they'll be behind. They'll always be a generation or two behind. But I wasn't even talking that. I was talking, have you had a conversation with Claude where you go in and just like you would ask me about a topic that I know about, you go into Claude and start asking it about flowers or azaleas and say, what do you know about azaleas? And it'll give it back and say, well, where are they grown? What climate do they what climate do they thrive the best in? What movies, what books are there about azaleas? How do you treat azaleas? How do you tend to them? What's the best way? I mean, you could just have a conversation with these things. Now, some of the information may be a little squirrely. They're not perfect, but that's why you don't have like Claude design your vitamin program or your medication program. Um, you can do it for some basic medical research and ask some basic medical questions to have an idea, and then you can go maybe cross-reference that with WebMD and some different sites, and then you could ultimately ask your doctor. And if the doctor says something, say, "Well, I looked this up, and doc, you're kind of full of shit." But just to say, "Oh, well, ChatGPT gave me my medical program of how to get rid of my cancer." It's like, well, you might not want to go
Yeah, good
based.
luck with that.
You might not want to really put all your faith in that. So that's what you're dealing with this technology. It generates information, it takes in data, it trains on the GPUs, and it spits out information. If you want precise information, you got some limitations. If you want, this is another thing about generative AI. The less specific you are, the better it is. So if you say, for example, write me a sonnet of a boy in southern Mississippi who runs away with his dog, you will get an awesome sonnet because the LLM knows what a sonnet is. It probably knows what southern Mississippi is, knows what a boy is, a dog, and running away means. So it knows all of that, but you're not very specific. So what is it going to center upon? Is it going to center upon the running away? Is it going to center upon the relationship between the boy or the dog? Is it going to center upon, the growing pains of being a boy? What you don't know, and you're not telling it. You're not prompting it. So it has the freedom to develop whatever it wants. Now, if you say, create me a vitamin program to add 25 pounds of muscle mass along with the workout program, that's when you get the squirrely stuff that says, well, take 3 tablespoons of cyanide a day. It's like, what?
Wait,
It's like, so that's where it can go totally off the rails. Or if you create an image, and you say, give me a sleeping cat on a chair. They'll do wonderful. Give you a great image of a cat in a chair. It may not be the color chair you thought, maybe not be a cat, might be gray instead of blue, of beige, but it'll do it well. But if you say, give me a cat sleeping on a magazine edition of Newsweek on a red and white striped chair in the corner, and you give it all these parameters, you end up with a cat that looks like something out of a sci-fi. Yeah, it looks like something out of Gremlins or something. It just, this is not precise. Maybe it will be in the future, but as of now, it's still the idea of generating output. And so that's what Cal was talking about with the Copilot type feature, where if it's trained on your articles and you ask it about a specific section that you're doing, it will take the information on your articles and spit out new information. And that may or may not improve what you've done there. I say may or may not because maybe you did better. Maybe you like what you did better. But it'll give you another option where you put that in as, okay, this cleared this up because it was more concise. It brought in other aspects of the article that I didn't even consider. Um, so that's what the Copilot can do. And that's what the advantage of Leo AI is by training on all our data, where it will know all my articles. It will know all my threads. It will know all my comments. It will know what's tied to my account. And this ultimately is laying the foundation for creating our digital life, our digital twin, because all of this is being created. Um, on Hive, it can be under one umbrella. It isn't on Web 2 because everything's fragmented. So what you do on Instagram has no bearing on X unless you copy it over. And what you do on X has no bearing what's on YouTube. So a guy makes a video or a girl makes a video on YouTube about something they're passionate about. Let's say they make a video about the Olympics. Now, if they don't talk about the Olympics on X, they don't upvote anything about the Olympics on X. They don't do anything about the Olympics on X. The X profile is going to have nothing about the Olympics, and this person could be an Olympic junkie. Now, odds are on X they'll talk about the Olympics, but what if they're not on there much? What if they use X just for business marketing? They don't talk about the Olympics. They talk about their flower business. Well, that's going to create a totally different profile. We don't have that problem on Hive because we have the ability to input into our digital twin, our digital profile, our digital life. And because we own the account, they can't take that away from us. They can't murder us.
See, that's one of the best parts of that whole. They can't. I mean, they can't take it away from you. It's there.
Well, again, if you're thinking of yourself, because where this digital life goes, this digital twin, I mean, ultimately, we'll all be able to create avatars of ourselves, either realistic and photo looking or, whatever we want to create. I mean, we could look like, the Roadrunner from the Roadrunner series, if you want. I mean, you can look at whatever you want. And so you'll have this avatar, which will become a representation of you. You will have all this AI that will operate like you and interact like you do because it has, years and years of data and threads and all this information. And because of that, you will be able to go out and interact. But what happens if you have all that information on Twitter and they whack your account? You're dead. It's like they murdered you.
Mm-hmm.
They murder your digital life. It's gone. You can't have that on Hive. Your digital life doesn't go anywhere. And like I wrote this morning, you own your account, but you don't own your data. See, that's a misnomer. Well, Web3, I own my data. No, you don't. You don't own shit. If you own it, try getting it off Leo. Try getting it off Hotblock. You can't. It's on the blockchain. But the key is humanity owns it. Nobody owns it. It's permissionless. Not even Hive owns it. Not even the people on Hive, because somebody who's not associated with Hive could set up an API and scrape it. So they could take the data. They could use the data. So it's humanity's data. But you own your account. And that cannot be whacked. That cannot be taken away unless, of course, you put your key out there and then somebody gets hold of it, change your account, locks you out. Then you're screwed. But with the key system, if you protect your keys, you protect your wallet, everything on Hive that's tied to that wallet, to that key, it can't be taken away, and it can't be erased. It can't be eliminated. That's a major breakthrough. And we're feeding humanity data.
Yeah, hearing all this, the more I hear, the more I don't understand why there's so many people still focused on the little rewards. I mean,
Because they don't understand it. They don't understand where things are going. They're stuck in the me, me, me. I'm here for the rewards. I need the rewards. We see it with the Leo premium. It's not worth the money. All this other shit. They're slaves. They are absolute incomplete slaves. They have the slave mindset. They will never get anywhere in life. They will whine and complain and they say, do for us. We need equality. We need this, we need that. And they don't do shit. Get pissed off. They whine and complain, then they leave. And it's the same everywhere. Same in humanity. You go in a sales organization. How many salespeople are there 5:05 still making calls? Very, very few. Now, your superstar may still be there at 5:15 working, doing proposals, getting stuff done. They're doing proposals at 5:15 because they're not doing proposals at 10 a.m. because they're out there prospecting. They're talking to potential business people to do business with. So they do their proposals, they do their data entry, they do all that stuff. They answer their emails after hours. But that's not most people. Most salespeople, first thing they do is after their sales meeting, they go and open up their emails. Then they go and do some research and they do a proposal. Then at 10:30, already, I don't know, let's say an hour and a half of good calling time. Now they decide to go get a cup of coffee and then they start to try to figure out who they're going to call. Figure that out by 11:15, spend 30 minutes on the phone, then go to one of their colleagues, say, hey, what do you want to do for lunch? And for 15 minutes, they decide what to do for lunch and they go for lunch. Whereas the superstar salesperson, they're on the phone at 8:30, they work right through lunch and maybe eat a sandwich at their desk or a cup of noodles or something and keep going. I mean, what's the difference? They neither are forced to do it. It's a choice that people make. And it's the choice that people make, whether you are going to dive in deep, whether you are going to try to figure this out. I got into a thread discussion the other day. I think was it D Kid? I forget who I was talking to. And no, I don't think it was D Kid. But anyway, the thread that I responded to said, well, most people don't have the financial knowledge. And I was very blunt. I said, there's no freaking excuse for that. There was a time when information, I'm old enough to remember when information was a premium. You had to pay for it. It was not widely available. Information is widely available now. You can type in anything about finance and get the basics. You can go to Investopedia. Hell, you can go to Leo Glossary. You can go to these chatbots. Again, I wouldn't ask the chatbot, what should I buy NVIDIA or should I buy AMD? But you could ask the chatbot, what is a carry trade? What's a budget? I wouldn't take anything a chatbot gives as gospel, but what's the best way to start setting up a budget? What's the best way to learn about budget? I asked the chatbot, I asked one of them one day, what is the best way to learn how to use AI effectively? Or maybe I said chatbots. And, it gave me the typical, well, there varies, there's a lot of areas, but then it gave me a list of suggestions. And I actually took some of those suggestions. I asked it how to become a better prompter. Teach me how to prompt with you. And it did. It gave me some general stuff, nothing specific. And, but it's like, learn this, read this, understand what it is. Understand what each chatbot focuses upon. And I did that. And it's like, it takes nothing. So the information's available. So that's where I said it's no excuse. So it's a choice. It's a choice people make. And, they're always going to sit there and say, why don't the whales vote my stuff? Why does anybody care about me? Why? Screw you. We've seen this 10,000 times before. You don't do shit. You're not going to do shit. You're going to whine and complain the second you don't get shit. Probably is the way you are in everything. and that's just how it goes. So, there's very few tens in the world. And I heard somebody say they quantified it. They said in a business, 110 is worth 28. So if you have 20 people who are eights, which is pretty good employee, they're only equal to 110. That's how good a 10 is. Well, how many people on
Wow.
Leo are tens? How many people are not? No, I'm not talking about their looks. So
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Arrow, don't get excited. How many people approach it? I'm going to be a 10. I'm going to be the best there is here. I'm going to do what it takes. I asked this in a thread. If you knew you would get financial freedom from Hive in 5 years, if I told you that from Leo in 5 years, what would you do? And people wrote out answers. You think they're going to do it? No.
No, because it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, because I put an if. I can't say I guarantee you put in 5 years you're going to be financially free. I can't make that guarantee. But you help build this platform, there's a good chance you will have, depending on how much Leo you have and what your requirements are, a shitload of money. But again, you said it's not easy. It takes time. You got to turn off the television. You got to focus on what you're doing. You got to do rudimentary and mundane stuff to try to bring value, even though you're not getting directly compensated. You got to think like an owner. Not something people do. You have to take responsibility. How many people? Oh, I'm back after being gone for a couple of weeks. Why?
We didn't know you were gone.
Yeah, we didn't know you were gone. Didn't give a shit anyway. But why? Why were you gone? That's like a superstar athlete saying in the middle of the season, "Oh, I'm back after 2 weeks." Well, where the hell did you go? I just felt I needed a break, or I had something else to do. Huh? We had 4 games, you jackass. But that's how people think. It's like, your accountant leaves April 1st. I'll be back on the 15th. What the fuck? Yeah,
You
it took
do
2 weeks.
that.
Yeah, it's like, what are you crazy? You're getting a new account. I mean, but that's the mentality of people: users versus owners. A user can leave, an owner cannot.
One of the things I'd really like to see on Leo is the ability to schedule, like schedule a threadcast or schedule.
There's a
I mean,
lot of
you can
things.
schedule blog posts. I think you can schedule
I
those
don't
like
know
a
if that
blog.
works. There's the UI needs a lot of work. There's no doubt about it. And it's just, unfortunately, they seem slow in what they're doing. They have different priorities. And I mean, right now, trying to get Leo Shorts, I guess, is taking all the attention. But
And it seems to be quite the undertaking, getting it working.
yeah, well, there's the problem is it's not their stuff. So they're dependent. It's they're dependent on the quality of what Free Speak has, and then you have the degradation from there of problems with handshakes, APIs, all that stuff. So, it's a lot of people have said Free Speak. I don't really have a problem with it, but a lot of people have talked about Free Speak and how slow it is, and it's not the best infrastructure and stuff. Maybe that's true. So that's only going to be an order of proportionally worse for Leo, trying to tap into that. So
Just like what you were talking about in your threadcast about, a company like an insurance company having its own technology, like in-house stack, like everything in-house, so they don't have to, go and get it anywhere else. That's probably, I guess, what
well,
Leo
and it
needs.
also but what it also does, that was in reference to the valuation, and companies that use external software, they're going to have, or companies that have their own their own software stack, they go for 3 to 4 times that of a company in terms of the multiple of a company that does not. And that's what investors, buyers of companies look at. One of the questions that they'll ask these companies, these smart companies that sell them, do you own your software? Did you write it? And if so, they'll say, well, if you, well, no, we license it from ABC company. We pay 50 grand a year. And it's like, well, okay, you got a multiple of 5. But if they own it, it's like, okay, we can get you between multiple 15 to 20. So
Wow.
again, when you're looking at the valuation, the more stuff of this you create, and it's getting easier and easier. That's why I was saying about you. You're saying these generative AI all over the place. Yeah, that's exactly it. The more that these platforms build on their own, the more valuation they're going to have, and that's what Leo's doing. Is they built some of their back end infrastructure. So they have their own APIs. They have their own ability to pull DS. They're they're pulling data differently. They have the ability to store their own images. Now they're not doing it on. I mean, they're renting the image server, but that can feed into AI. They have their own AI engine that they built. These all come into play.
Now, if I was looking for a company or whatever, I'd like, to see everything all in one place. It's the one stop, have everything there. Don't, and because you can't rely on something from outside always working, like with the 3 speak and trying to get the shorts.
Well, that's true too. You do have compatibility issues. That's why companies that control as much of their supply chain as they can are better off because they control it and they guide it. And this is what we're creating, and you guys follow suit and adhere to our standards as opposed to design whatever the hell you want, and then we'll spend time trying to make all these different parts work together. So, you know, but again, I mean, this is stuff people need to look at, and I don't think they're looking at it because, like you said, it's just what rewards can I get? Oh, this isn't working. I don't get it. This is stupid. Just go to Facebook. Just leave. I mean, it seriously. People are always talking about users. It's like, I don't give a shit if we get down to 3 users because users are worth nothing. They're absolutely worthless. They will leave in a heartbeat. So get rid of all the users. Give me 100 owners. If we have 100 owners, at least we have a starting point because they're not leaving for shit. And we see that.
And that's the thing, you're not going to get rewards on Facebook. If to get monetized on YouTube or Twitter is like, forget about it. The amount of followers and watching hours you have to have.
Yeah.
So it's nuts. I mean, so if you're on Leo, like I don't even like really look at my rewards. I mean, if I
I don't
have
even know
something,
what I'm getting. I have no fucking clue. You ignore it. It doesn't matter. It's if you focus on rewards, you're going to screw yourself. You don't control the rewards, so it's like focusing on the weather. Who gives a shit? It's raining, it's sunny, it's cold, it's hot. You have no control, so who cares? Ignore it until you have to go out into it, look at it, find out what it is, and take a jacket. I mean, you know, sitting there focusing on rewards. Why is nobody voting my stuff? Who cares? You don't have any control of that. You know what you do have control over? Putting up another 150 threads, writing your next article, setting up a threadcast and billing the threadcast yourself. Nobody's showing up. Who gives a shit? How many other threadcasts have you been in? I told that to Bradley Arrow. It's like you want people in your threadcast. How come you're not in anybody else's? Nothing that's up there is of you. I don't have knowledge in. Bullshit. You know. But that's people say, what do they do? It's always the same thing. So until people break that mindset, you're just going to be a slave. And I'm certainly not going to bend over backwards for you. I mean, I'll engage with you, fine, but you know, you got to prove you're an owner, and most people are not. And that sounds cold. That sounds mean. That doesn't sound Web3. We are inclusive. We have everybody. No, it's still like any other organization. Very few doing all the heavy lifting, and that's what it comes down to. And the ones who bitch the most are the ones who don't do shit, typically, but they'll complain. And that's the same at your church. It's the same at the PTA. It's the same at the blood bank. It's the same in your company. And it's the same on digital platforms. Biggest complainers tend to be the ones who don't do shit.
What have you done for it lately?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, I mean, I can't speak in other countries, but, you know, we got a full generation, maybe a generation and a half of the social media, selfie, Instagram, look at me, I'm so important, all this other shit. And these people are in fantasy land. And you see them on YouTube crying, on TikTok crying and whining because they got in the workforce and everybody didn't bend over backwards and maybe, oh, you're so important. And then you get in the workforce and then realize, no, you're not important. Then you tell them you're important. They tell you, get the hell out of here. And they fire all these people. You see it in the tech world. I mean, they're just having massive layoffs. And they're automating these people out. Why? They're idiots. They're entitled, and it's like, this isn't the real world. But they think it is.
That's part of getting the rewards for just, oh, I'm here.
No, that's what they think. I write quality stuff. Who gives a shit? So do a lot of other people. Go write your quality stuff on Substack or on Patreon. See how much they give you. I make a quality video. I spent a lot of hours. Okay, go put it on YouTube. See what Google will give you. My guess is nothing. And like you said, how long is it going to take you on Google starting from scratch till you get to the point where you can file the application to get monetized? And then, oh, by the way, they can demonetize your shit anytime they want.
You know, you think you're frustrated now.
Yeah, well, you think you're frustrated now. Think of how you'll be in 5 years when a lot of this stuff takes off and you don't have crap to show for it. I mean, that's how it works. You know, there's a lot of people got in Amazon stock at $100. I wasn't one of them. You put any amount of money in Amazon stock at $100 in whenever it was, 2005, not even, it was before that. But hell, you could have gotten Amazon at like $10. You're sitting pretty right now. Okay, you would have had to hold through some rough times, but you'd be sitting pretty. But those people, I guess, are lucky. And that's what we hear. It's like it's amazing that the lucky people are the ones with the balls to hold something, the balls to get into something, or have the work ethic to make it happen. It's funny how that they're always lucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hard work and whatever doesn't have anything to do with it. You're just lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky. All those Bitcoin millionaires are lucky because they were able to get in at $100 or $20 or $50 a Bitcoin. Leaving aside the fact that they've held it for 10 years through, 80% pullbacks. Oh, they were lucky. Yeah, jackass. I mean, it's just, Of course, that person be the first one to sell as soon as it drops 20% and is the first one showing up crying. Why is the price of Bitcoin crashing? Do I sell? Yeah, selling. Go buy an annuity, you dumbass. Go buy a CD from your local bank. I mean that's just the reality of it. I mean, it's if you want to be average, act like everybody else does. Number one, don't be stupid. Number two, avoid stupid people. And they show you with what they do and what they say exactly where they stand. And the people who are doing it aren't sitting there complaining all day. They just say fuck it and they figure out a way around it.
I mean, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, there's no time to complain.
No, there isn't. There isn't. You're too busy. I've never seen a top salesperson. No, I have. But typically, your top salespeople aren't the ones bitching for hours on end about how bad the company is. They don't have time. They're not around to bitch all the time. They're out in front of customers. They're closing deals. They're installing equipment. They're training. They're at networking events. They're doing, they're busy. They don't care what the hell the HR department's doing. They don't care what some VP of whatever is doing. Who cares? Leave me alone. I'm making my calls and then I'm going out in the field. That's what they do.
Because that's the only thing they have control over anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's the only thing that's going to make a difference in their life. They can't change the VP of whatever. They can't change the company's product line. They can't change the delivery schedule. They can't change that. They can change how many calls they make, though. I can't change what Cal does. I don't know Cal's rollout schedule. I can't influence that whatsoever. But I can control the number of threads that I do. I can control when I put up a blog post. I can control my curation. That I control. I can't control the rewards I get. So, I mean, that's why when people set these goals, I used to have this argument with Jungo. Says goals, I said, you have no control over that. I mean, if you're buying Hive or if you're buying Leo, fine. But if you're dependent on rewards, how do you know what happens if your rewards go from, I don't know, three Hive a post to 0.05 Hive a post?
Yeah, that
you have no control. There goes your goals. They're out the window. So you see me posting about how many threads I can do. How many my threads left? I can control the threads left. I don't know how many of those threads will be uploaded. I don't know how much. I don't know who will upload them and bring in Leo to me. I have no idea. So I don't even focus on it. I can look at each morning where my day starts with my thread count, and then I can look at it at the end of the day and say, okay, I did this many threads, or I didn't do threads, whatever. That's an action-based goal. That's the difference between goals based on action versus goals based on nothing else. I mean, they talk about when working out. It's like you don't set a goal to put on 10 pounds. You might think that. You might say, I want to lose 25 pounds. Fine. But what's your goal? You have no control. I'm going to lose 25 pounds in 3 months. How do you know? You might do everything right, and you may only lose 20. You may lose 15. You may lose 50. Who the hell knows? So what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to walk every day. Okay, there. That's unquantified. You can control that. I'm going to not eat any sweets. Okay, you can control that. I'm going to do push-ups. I'm going to do weight training 3 times a week. Okay, what days? Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, excellent. After 3 months, you can say, okay, you did weight training 3 times. What's 3 months? 13 weeks roughly. So you did 39 days of weight training, right? No, I only did 34. You failed. Nope, I did 39. Okay, you achieved your goals. And the result is the result. You may have lost 25 pounds. You may have lost 10. I do this effort. I don't know what I'm going to get in rewards any given day, any given month. I can't tell you where I'm going to be at a month from now. I have no clue.
Yeah, and you don't know, what you put up, what somebody else is going to engage with or upvote or whatever. I like what you said about, was it you that said something about putting like a like button and not necessarily add the like button and not
Yeah,
necessarily
Cal mentioned that, and I reaffirmed it, and that's going back to views, which CTP produced. And yeah, if we put a like button on Threads, let's say in the upper right, you put a like button, then I could like your thread, but not necessarily upvote. And I don't need to upvote because there's a variety of reasons why I might not upvote your thread. First off, I might not think it's worthy of an upvote because you just copied a quote, let's say. I might have low voting power, so I can't upvote. I got to sit and wait till I recharge. But if there's a like button, it doesn't cost me anything to like it, and I like it. Now you have a like. Now you can start to talk about a trending and a hottest page based upon likes and not based upon upvotes. Because I might go 3 hours without upvoting anybody because I torch my voting power. But if I have continual liking power, I can like the stuff that I like and
mm-hmm.
everybody else can. And then all of a sudden you can look at it and it's not based upon the monetary situation, it's based upon what people like, what people see, what people engage in. And then it's a matter of how many people are you getting in front of. For your stuff to appear on trending, you better be in front of a lot of people. So you better be on For You feed. Because if it's just on the latest, you might get 2, 3, 4 likes, but it's gone very quickly. So what are you doing? Are you reblogging it? Are other people not reblogging it, rethreading it? Are other people rethreading it on your behalf? Maybe, maybe not. And if they are, well, then they feel it's worthwhile. Are you in the threadcast so they follow your stuff and they like your stuff? You know,
So when Kale's talking about MAUs, what are those?
monthly average active users. So
Monthly. Okay.
yeah, it's versus daily active users. It's just the number of independent users, and I guess it's based on IP that show up in a month. So when you read X has 500 million monthly active users, so over the course of a month, 500 million different people or different IPs were logged into X. Now some show up every day, some may have shown up once in the month. So you have all different types of users, but that's what MA uses.
Okay. Well, this was another good talk. I'm glad we were able to get on here.
All righty.
Thank
Yep.
you, everyone who showed
Wednesday,
up.
Wednesday is the town hall, 12 p.m. Eastern, is what I'm told.
And where is that? That's in Spaces.
Yeah, that'll be Spaces. I think that one of the other reasons they delayed it is so they can get a blog post. So we'll have to share the blog post on Threads once it goes out.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
All righty. Ciao.
Bye bye.